Hi, good night. Welcome to this is now the I don't know fourth. I think I've lost count already. Welcome to this episode of Make It Happen with Chamara, and today I will be interviewing Cherita Odell of Barbados um, Real Estate 246 as well as Million Dollar Homes. I'm actually looking forward to interviewing her because she's a very active personality. I mean, just thinking of all the different things that she has done and all the things that she currently does, it really makes me wonder, like, where on earth does she find the time to do everything that she does, including managing, um, the responsibilities of a family as in addition to those things. So as we wait, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I am Chamara Hollingsworth and I am the CEO of Vision to Reality International. And as what I do is I really help women. I help women. Stop it, Nairobi. I help women to streamline their systems so that they can level up their business, take back their time, build out their teams or, strengthen their teams, strengthen their customer relationships and up level their profits. And what I do in terms of the Make It Happen with Chamara series is I really like the idea. Well, not I like the idea. Over the years, I've come to make sure that I create spaces to highlight women and the great things that they're doing, from back in the day to the dynamic diva hour of power to divas that dazzle. And this is just the online platform that I am using for this as well. Hi, Cherita. So let me just add Cherita to the call. Some people.
Hello.
Hi, Cherita. Welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Just making sure I can be seen here. Good to see you.
Good to see. Well, I can't
And
see you
good to
yet
see
because
everyone.
I'm not inviting people to the call. So just give me a
Good.
moment.
Sure.
Okay, that's a good feel there. Hey, now I can see you. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone who's here. I was just saying that I'm Chamara Hollingsworth of Vision to Reality International, and I help women to streamline their systems and processes so that they can take back their time and level up their teams, their customer relationships, and their profits. And I was also just reminding people of the fact that I do this particular series because I really love the concept of the empowerment of women and also creating spaces where I can showcase the wonderful things that the women are doing in business. So from things like Dynamic Diva or Power and Divas that Dazzle, this is basically the online platform that I'm using to continue doing what I was doing over the years. And today I have with me Cherita Odell. I'm actually going to let Cherita tell you a bit about herself because honestly, right? She does so many different things. I'm not going to remember all of them off of the top of my head, right? So, Cherita, please introduce yourself and what it is that you do.
Oh my gosh. Well, when you put it like that, I describe myself as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Um, I have always been that worker that when I was on the job, yeah, I'm working for you, but I was always thinking about the next hustle.
Mhm.
When you're blessed with different skills and different talents, your mind is always there trying to figure out how you can convert this into something tangible that can bring you a return. And that was me. So I was the one who, while I had a big up job, as they said, I was teaching babies how to swim. I was teaching adults how to swim. I was the typist for UE. I was known in UE. I would deliver a 10-page paper by the next morning. So that's how I got into it. And initially, I was blessed to be in the hotel scene. I
Mm.
started off as trainee manager, worked my way up to sales manager, and that was at the Accra Beach Hotel and Resort. Um, After that, I went on to Montrose Holdings, where I sold, you ready for this? Hotels, luxury condos, and chicken and eggs.
Okay.
And from there, I just kept on saying, look, if I could put butts in beds, I can go on and do my own thing. And that's how my
Mhm.
real estate business started. But then also, I like audiovisual stuff. So I started a production company where I did some films, radio productions, and so forth, and on and on and on. So I wear many hats. I would just describe myself as entrepreneur.
Fair enough. I thank you for that because when I was reading your bio, I was like, wait, this woman, she does. I mean, I saw athletics, I saw the production company, I saw sales, I saw marketing, and I was like, all right, all right. There is no way I can put all of this down for people to like process all of these different things that they do. You understand? So then it was like, all right, the best person to explain this is Cherita, right?
That's all right.
So I want to ask you a question. Why is it that you, okay, it's a little tough because you chose a number of different things. So you're a serial
Mhm,
entrepreneur clearly, which is fantastic. But I know you mostly in the real estate arena. So why is it that
mhm.
you chose to go into real estate?
I would start off by saying when I was in my wearing my hotelier hat,
Hmm.
um, I was known for being good at what I did. I was able to put butts in beds. My job was to attract tour operators, incentive groups, travel agencies, internationally, regionally, and so forth. And my job was to attract you to the hotel and fill it. And I
Hmm.
did that. Um, so when I started off with that, and I then went to the holding company where I was able to dabble with other things, I think what caught my attention there was that I was um, wearing the hat of marketing for hotels, yes, but I was
Hmm.
also marketing a luxury condo, and the agents were coming to me. I was the developer's representative.
Ah.
Now, I'm a bit slow, okay, forgive me, I'm a slow learner, but by the time the ninth property sold, thanks to my involvement in showing around agents, etc., and I realized, wait a minute, my salary still here? Still here, and these agents come in, I doing the showings, giving them all the information, connecting them with attorneys, and they walking away with how much money?
Mm.
I
Mm.
was like,
Yeah,
oh, something ain't right about this.
I understood.
And yeah, and so I said, look, you know what? Let me, get myself into this on the side. Everything always starts off on the side. And
Hmm.
I was very upfront with my boss, and I said, look, I want to start a little business. I'll call it $1 million homes because since I was in the luxury market, I got comfortable with that. I said, you know what? All I need is one sale per year. To make this happen, the name $1 million homes is enough to tell people don't call unless you want what the title says. And it therefore would attract only the serious people who knew exactly what they were about. So that's kind of how I took off in it. And I said, you know what? While I'm here working for you guys, why don't you help me increase my real estate knowledge and, pay for me to do that little course over there so I can build my knowledge for you. Well, as we all know, no one can take your knowledge away, right?
Yep, yep.
So yeah, they blessed me by covering the real estate sales course for me. I got the knowledge, and then things just started to transform bit by bit.
I like that while you were doing this, you were able to have that kind of relationship with your employer to have those type of conversations. You know, and there are quite a few people who don't have that luxury, and I think that's fantastic. You know, yeah. Mm. All right, I see that face. So tell me about this face, huh?
sounded good and dandy, right, at the beginning,
Yeah.
because guess what? Poor little Cherita, good dear. She wants to sell something. God bless her. God bless her. But then I sold something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, let me put it this way. Before I sold something, I went and bought a fast car, a
Mm-hmm.
nice, cute, little, sexy, luxury fast car. I had not sold anything yet, but the perception was there that I had sold something, and my life became a living hell.
Sure.
Um, Persons have heard of hostile work environments. I have lived it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Imagine waking up, your neck tense every day, headaches,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Off of the perception that I was selling property. I hadn't sold anything up until that point.
Okay.
Um, and it just went downhill and downhill and downhill, so that when I finally sold something, it became a living nightmare. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
and
I would say you really dashed away my hopes for, the great, those great relationships there in that moment. But it is so good to hear. I don't want to say good to hear, but it's interesting to hear about the struggle that you would have been through and the fact that you were able to at least make that first sale, which I could imagine would have been the catalyst, you know, and the motivation for you to make even more sales going forward,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, so I think that's fantastic. Um,
Thank you.
could you hold one moment for me? My youngest daughter just woke up. Hold on.
Oh, okay, there, sure. Well, guys, I'm going to chat until she gets back. Hope all of you are fine. And I appreciate that she's doing this. And the reality is, this is motherhood, right? Especially thanks to COVID and being home. We all have to juggle it. So I fully get it. Trust me. And I am excited to continue sharing. Hoping you guys are feeling motivated and pumped. Chamara, I was chatting with everybody while you popped away.
I heard you holding on before while I was gone. Thank you very much. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. I know how it is.
Oh my goodness. So she went to sleep early, so I know she's not going back to sleep.
Oh, lost. I know the struggle. How old is she?
3.
Oh, lost. Yes, I know the struggle.
So all right. So I was asking about why that, and I kind of want to ask you why the production company, but I feel like this real estate conversation is really flowing right now.
No
So
problem.
like how let me get back and gather my thoughts again. Um, Part of me wants to ask you like where did you find the properties that you would be able to sell or that you were going to
Oh,
sell?
lost. Um, Firstly, when I started, real estate is a numbers game. It is a use your head game. It is a hustle game. That's just the reality of it.
Mhm.
So when I first started, remember, I didn't really have a mentor or anyone to follow. I was the developer's rep, so there was no agent above me per se. So I didn't know how the agent thing was done.
Mhm.
Um, but luckily at the time I still had a job, so I could figure it out piece by piece. What I did when just before that house sold, I put a lot of money into marketing that house. I spent because that one was a $2.5 million listing, which I was able to, I co-broked it with another agent so that the agent brought the buyer and I had the property, right? And that one house carried me real far because I took my coins, boy. I put that one house in a magazine acting like $8 million homes, bespoke properties, check out this one. And the way it was marketed,
Mhm.
people assumed that it was one of many. It was the only one.
Mhm.
But off of that one, people were like, "Ooh, she gives her properties real attention. Look at the marketing, the branding. We're seeing it. It's in the papers. It's in the magazine, etc.
Mhm.
Let's give her a try." So little by little, a one person would call. Um, and in conjunction with that too, I would have to do the old-fashioned drive around,
Mm-hmm.
see if any houses had curtains. No curtains. Could this possibly be for rent? Let me ask a neighbor what's going on here. Let me see if I could get some owner's details and ask if they need some assistance.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how real estate originally started for me. I mean, people are seeing it now that yes, we make it look glamorous and fun and whatever, but a lot of um, real estate, especially in the initial days, is hard,
Fair enough.
really hard.
I actually,
Mm-hmm.
I never thought of it as a situation that um, a real estate agent would actually be the person going around looking to see if houses were empty. Just like how the buyer would kind of do the same type of thing. So I didn't think that.
Yep.
I never saw it from that perspective. Um,
Yes.
but then if that's the case and you had the $1 million homes, what made you decide to start another real estate business?
Ooh. Well, I was happy. Remember, I was happy with my one sale a year because I had a job.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, however, that job got so hostile that I walked away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so the reality is, as a realtor, you could be very, very rich while being very, very, very poor, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand it, but imagine if I sell your house right now, I am not seeing 5 cents until about 5, 6 months from now.
Okay.
Because the legal process takes so long, the financing process takes so long. So if I sell your house today, knowing the system, by January next year is when I'll probably see that money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
right. So it isn't for the faint of heart. It is scary. It is frightening. So when I then walked away from a job, it's like, oh shoot, I can't rely on this. I hope on one house sell every year. I need cash flow,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you just have to get creative. Like a lot of newer agents would sit down with the newspapers, go through the newspapers, see who's selling the house, and call them, right? And say, well, I could help you sell your house better. That's why sometimes in the newspapers you see a little note next to people's um, property when they're advertising it. Agents do not call, right? Because they don't want any unsolicited hassle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you start out, you have to do whatever it takes. You call your circle, your mother, father, auntie. Yeah, you got anything you want me help you rent out? And that is literally how you do it until people get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I then ended up with another agency is essentially on top of me having walked away from a job, um, you still have bills. Then the recession came. So even the rich, yeah, the rich were like, I don't need any luxury home right now. I'm good. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Um, and that's when I opened up my mind to, the wider demographic because I didn't have a job anymore, so I couldn't be all spoiled talking about I selling one house a year. I had to get out there and hustle. So that is how the wider demographic then opened up. And I said, you know what, I'll keep my luxury arm and then I'll go with, all and sundry for Barbados real estate 246.
Okay, I think that's actually fantastic. That's actually a very brilliant idea. And to me, it's not the same thing, but it is very similar to what they do. Was one of the things I learned when I was at UE, where some companies would sell, let's say, hot dogs, but then they would have different packaging for the hot, this
Yes,
like the price discrimination, the different packages for the hot dogs. So you're literally buying the same hot dogs in different packaging, one more expensive than the other. And then you will
correct.
convince yourself that these ones taste better than these ones when you're actually
Same hot dog.
so I found that very, very interesting. It's a real eye opener. So I think it's fantastic that you were able to do that with a service like real estate. I don't know if I would have
Thank
thought
you.
of that. But then switching over now, what was the big difference, or were there any differences or similarities um, between starting those real estate businesses and then starting a production company?
Okay. So let me start off by giving the fact that my background is marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Marketing, that has always been my strength. I was hired by companies because I could sell snow cone to Eskimos and have them come back for seconds, right? I was always that creative out of the box thinker. So the root of everything is marketing. And then this might sound simple, but here's what it is. I like TV, unhealthy amounts of TV. That being said, I have watched everything under the sun, so I know what it takes to make you laugh. I know what it takes to stimulate emotion. Um, all from being entertained by TV, I know therefore, well, I think I know what then to produce to make it entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And my background, which would have been track and field, would have led me to doing things like commentary for inter-school sports and so forth. Sitting down for the World Championships and Olympic Games to help do commentary for them regionally. So with that came the ease of talking in front of the camera or in front of a microphone. And the production company aspect came from, it initially started from me saying one day, and I have to give Jeffrey Allen kudos for this, a cameraman. He was with me at a cocktail reception once, and he casually said, Cherita, because he had filmed me at Into School Sports and stuff, so we had a rapport. He said, Cherita, you never talk about taking those nice, pretty houses that you did and turn it into a show. That was in October, right? We stood up and talked. I said, that's a good idea. The worst thing I could do is log on to a good idea, because that was in October. Filming started December. I had never filmed anything in my life. Um, I got on Google. I Googled what being a director was, pan left, pan right, lighting, microphones, and I showed up with a whole crew at someone's house, and I prayed real hard, God, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, but you do your thing, show up and show off. And that is how a program called Caribbean Window came into being, which then aired on CBS WSEE to 31 countries. So
Nice.
imagine, idea was October, execution December, 13 episodes finished by February, and it then aired. Um, so once I was able to do that, then I had the courage to do anything thereafter.
Well, I actually, I don't know. I am pretty amazed by that. And one of the questions I asked, in my head just now was really like, how do you get to that point where you actually have well, you just mentioned two stations that aired the show, but it was aired to
That, yeah,
like,
that one came out on CBS, WSE, and their platform reached 31 countries.
mm-hmm. Okay, so then it's like, okay, so it speaks to the fact that in the background somewhere you had to be able to connect with these places to be able to get your show on the
Listen,
channel, right?
listen, I serve a big God, Chamara, and when I tell you about divine places, divine connections, divine timing,
Mm-hmm.
that's how it's always been in my life. So guess what? While I was at the hotel working, I stumbled into, I think it was the anchor or one of the major players for CBS. And we just got to chatting, nothing to do with a TV show, but we just got to chatting because I was the sales manager there and I would have had his card. And then when it was time for me to say, let me try this show thing, who am I going to call? You know, and I'm one of these people, I believe in go big or go home. So I was not going to start on the local scene. I said, look, if I try this thing and I stepping out in faith, let me go for broke and go big. And that's how it came into being.
Yes, and then well, I know I have a very, very little experience um helping out with a TV show once. And I know one of the big things and it was selling ad spaces. So you had to go through that process for your show.
No, you're giving me flashbacks. You're giving me, you got my heart beating fast. When people see things coming on TV and it looks real good, they don't know the effort behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I went into this TV show just off of an idea. I had no money at the time to do it, but I had an idea. And I remember going to a finance person to pitch the idea to them to see if I could get financing. I went in with an idea of my 13-part series, half-hour episodes, and by the time he listened to my idea, scoffed at it, and came back with, no, you really need to do a 5-minute crop over video to really, if you really want success. And I remember I drove away from that meeting, and by the time I hit the bell stretch, I burst into tears.
Mm.
I had to pull over on the side of the road because it was so in me. The passion was so in me to want to birth this idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying, God, what do I do? What do I do? This thing is in me strong. And I heard 2 words: press on. So I was like, all right. So when I went to the first filming of the first show, imagine I would have been the host of the show, the director of the show, the director of the crew. I was the person selling ads. And up until the first show, I had no money to pay the crew. And I would have been, I would have been calling around all that week trying to sell advertising, etc. Nothing. But to show you how God shows up and shows off in my life, before the first day closed, I got a call saying, yeah, Cherita, we'll go ahead and sign up. That money would have paid the crew for the first day.
Nice.
And I kid you not, when I say the show had 13 episodes, that happened for each episode. Never did I see the full money of the production cost in one go. It showed up right before I was to film or before I had to pay the TV company. So yeah, that's how that got into gear.
Understood. A few things there, because when this is just to show, or before I go on, I saw some comments earlier. So I saw somebody saying that it was fabulous. I still have to get accustomed to these changes. Saying that that's fabulous. What you were doing is really fabulous. And there, I can't scroll the same way I used to. I feel like a girl. And then somebody said, very great job,
Thank you.
So I definitely agree with them. And one of the things that I realize that people tend not to realize is they see, I guess all the entrepreneurs in here could relate to this. They see the end result, but then they never realize all the different things that go on in the background, all the heartbreak and tears and, all the rejection, the fears, and nothing like that. They see the end result and there's like, great job. And then like you feel that is, I would call it like a pregnancy, you know all this struggle that you go through during the course of pregnancy, but the moment that everything happens, baby comes out, you kind of, all of that kind of melts away. You kind of forget all the struggles that you've been through as a part of it, too. And same thing with business, right? So then I was looking at here, this lady had to do all the different networking. She had to make sure she did collaborations, she had to do the marketing, the sales, the actual maintenance of the operations. I'm sure at some point you were doing the financials. You understand all of those different things to bring all of those elements together. And then you spoke about the finance person. I don't know if the person was a male or female, but I found it very interesting that just Monday in a mastermind group that I am a part of, Beijing Fan Mastermind, we actually had this discussion about how we talked about mentoring and the realization that when a female generally has perhaps a male mentor, they might say to a female, this is not what you should be doing. You should be doing this instead.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So the discussion kind of went, is it a case that we need to have female mentors? But then one of the things I was saying in discussion is it's not really that we need to have female mentors. We need to be able to get mentors that can take the idea we have and help us run with it instead of telling us this is the wrong thing, do this instead. Right?
Yeah.
So you have to have people who are open to the the possibilities and the creativity that exists out there, because um, it makes no sense buying into people who are stifling us, even if they believe that they are doing us a favor or
Correct.
doing well.
Correct.
So I
Yeah.
think those things are very much important. And we have
Mm-hmm.
special toucher saying that the struggle is real, but the rewards are superb. I fully agree with that. You know,
Yeah.
I fully agree with that. And we need empowering is what Reach Your Goals Academy is saying. And I agree with
Yeah.
that wholeheartedly as well. So then I think it's also very phenomenal, right? That there are always people, no matter how we look at it, it may not be the people we expect, but there are
Mm-hmm.
always people who are willing to help you through the process. So we might be thinking, okay, well, this is somebody I know, or this is my friend, they gonna understand me, and the person going, nah, error, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody that we never met, we just happen to mention the idea to, we'll be like, yeah, I could work with this. Let's get this
Yeah.
happening, you know?
Yeah.
And that's something that actually, I said that just now, and I just remembered when I was doing Divas That Dazzle, how many places we went to. It was actually supposed to be like a
Mm-hmm.
diva dinner. And so many places that I went to, and I told them about my ideas to see if I could get sponsorship. They were like, nah, nope, this,
We live in a negative Nancy culture.
you know?
Negative Nancy and negative Ned are right in Barbados, you know?
Yeah,
And you gotta discern who they are and put out your force field. You can't share your ideas with everybody.
it is
You just
true.
can't.
It is
Mm-hmm.
true. And the funny thing is, I went to an event and I was sitting down next to Ryan, that was the lead of Dazzle magazine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me what I do, and I told him my idea, and I told him, well, I don't think it's going to come off, because nobody's buying into this idea. And he was like, yeah, we could do this.
You see?
Meet this man this day. And he was like, yeah, we could do
Yeah.
this. And we came and we put our heads together. We did away with the dinner concept. And we had a phenomenal event that was free. And we were able to get sponsorship for everything. And we pulled that event together in a week. And we had spaces for 50 people, and 80 people show up.
You see?
You understand?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
if I sat down and I minded the persons who said to me, this cannot happen,
Yeah.
that's an idea that would have died, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is, when people see me, I'm smiley, I'm chipper, I'm friendly, etc. But you'll be surprised to know, yes, I'm sociable, but I don't have a big circle of friends. I have the fat has been trimmed off, and if I got five good solid friends, that's a lot, um, on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So like even in real estate world, I don't have any friends. I have probably about one super colleague that we have rolled for over a decade, and I don't want any more because the way I operate, and if you're an entrepreneur who's serious, you have to minimize your distractions.
Mm-hmm.
I know my name gets licked every day, every week, but guess what? I don't know what is said. You understand? And you can't have anything in your spirit that's gonna change the trajectory of your course. So I am very careful as to who I let in. Um, Ideas wise, I don't share with many people. If something is pressing on me and it's on my spirit, I know that that's God telling me you have to do this. And you know what I do? The less than five friends that I have, I tell them that I am doing this to be accountable and so I can't bail out. And they know once I tell them that this is happening,
Yeah,
it is happening.
that is fantastic. So we have Reach Your Goals Academy saying we have to find our tribe, and I fully agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I'm discovering more and more every day.
Better believe
When
it.
you put it out there, and then you start to realize, okay, you might start to feel a little defeated, but then somebody shows up that really, really
Yeah.
resonates with what you're putting out there. But
Mm-hmm.
and beyond is saying self-motivation has a lot to do with it as well. I fully agree with that. She said to believe in yourself. Um, Richard Goals Academy also said accountability is key. And Special Touch says like, yep, like my profession is cutthroat, but God's God,
Mm,
you know. I
yeah.
think these are very important um and very valid points, you know.
Mhm.
When you sit down, you think about the experiences in your life and not just in entrepreneurship, you know. I had the experience of at working for I don't want to call names, but for a place that when you sold, you got a commission on the things that you
Mm,
sold. And I remember there were times where, like, let's say for instance, somebody came in today, they loved the product, but they weren't buying today, they were coming back. And it so happened that they came back on your off day. You could guarantee
oh,
your sale was gone. You understand?
oh
So
no.
for me, it was like, this is so ridiculous because the percentage that they were receiving, that we were receiving for the thing was so minuscule. It's like, why,
Oh man.
fighting over this little minor thing? You understand? So like those experiences, help you to open those experiences, help you to
Hmm.
open your eyes to all of the n- positive and negative things that are out there. So like
Correct.
when you talked about, keeping your circle small, is like I always say, it is very important to manage your energy levels and
Yes.
who you bring into your space.
Oh yes. Not everybody's there rooting for you.
And what you were
They're
saying,
not always.
you spoke a lot about boundaries. So tell me a bit about how you are able to create boundaries not only in your business but in your personal life and maintain that balance.
Well, I think you have to know your hierarchy of things that are important to you,
Hmm.
right? So for me, it's God first. Um, it is family second. Uh, Friends in terms of people, but also in terms of my mental health. I come first, right? As simple as that. In terms of my sanity and my peace. So even in term, real estate is a very demanding business. People call to pull on you, to pull on your time. It is one of the most time wasting jobs you will ever come across. And when I say that, imagine, to sell one house, it might take showing it 30 times. Yes, you heard me. You understand? So you have to establish systems to minimize how often you go up and down like a puppet, um, who you take with you to the properties, etc. So in terms, I have my work boundaries in which, for example, I'm not leaving my couch unless I know you have your financing in order and you're serious. So from the work perspective, that's that. In terms of work, I am not a morning person. So my work will start from 10 o'clock and I try to pack most of it in. Well, this is a normal schedule by 3, but now with COVID, because of dealing with kids and so forth, most of my work is actually between, I would say, 3 and 5:30, because obviously I have to be home minding kids during the day.
Hmm.
On purpose, I give myself an off day. Yes, you heard it. Friday is Cherita Day. It is either reality TV, the spa, go and buy me something because I feel I need to be rewarded this week, or go and sit down at the beach and do absolutely nothing. That is my Friday. And Saturday, I am not working past approximately midday. Sundays, I am off. I don't care if you want to buy it. No, 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 no. I'm not. Sunday is my off day.
Hmm.
Um, so those things I put in place. And as an entrepreneur, you have to do that. Otherwise, you just keep going and going and going. In the early days, I was up till 3 every morning because I was trying to get the website right, add something else to the website. Okay, what else do we need to do now? Put down a marketing plan. And for the first, I would say, 5 years of my real estate career, 1 to 3 a.m. was when I got sleep, was when I went to sleep because there's nobody else who can push the job for me. And if I don't sell something or rent something, I don't eat. Only now, obviously, that my bank account is not hovering above zero anymore, and I have some stability, I've been able to make decisions um, for my mental health and wellness in terms of just stopping when I feel like stopping. I don't answer phone calls after a certain time. Whereas before I'd be like, God, get it. I know it's 10:28 at night, but God, get it, because this might be the $1 million listing. No,
Yeah.
I'm not answering the phone.
It
You know? So you
yeah.
gotta set those things in place. Otherwise, what will be the value of working for yourself if you are just fagged out and tired?
I fully agree. Actually, Reach Your Goals Academy was just saying she's the same with her Sundays.
Mm,
And Special Touch is saying, yes, self-care is not being selfish. We must care about ourselves. Anybody who knows me knows
mm,
I'm big on, self-care, self-love. I like to push those things. Anytime I do a program, that's one of the first things that I ensure any of my clients
mm,
deal with first and
right.
foremost.
Mm-hmm.
So that they could get it puts things into perspective. That's the way I see it. But then
Yes.
what you said there just the other day, I felt called to put up a post about desperation, you know? And really, truly, you kind of touched on that. Like when you first start a business, most of us start a business as a out of desperation. Is like we need the money now, and then it shows. I mean, it might not show up like to the customers the first time they see you.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, if you keep operating on that level, it stresses you, it drains you, everything. So then it's like, when do you get to that point where you step out of desperation, and into that place of calm? And you kind of touched on it a bit. You mentioned in terms of finances, and I kind of feel like sometimes we might need to set those standards before the finance. I feel like there's a level of alignment that needs to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you mentioned systems, and one of the systems that caught my attention is qualifying, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Qualifying, like you,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. How I mean, outside the fact that you said that if you don't have your finances in order, I am not getting out of my bed. You understand? Or I'm not leaving my couch. Like, what other things do you consider when you're qualifying clients, um, to before you make that next step with them, so that you don't waste
Okay.
time?
So I will prelude it by saying this.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of entrepreneurship has to do with finding your rhythm.
Hmm.
It is that formula that only you will perfect, that you will, after trial and error, will, bring into being, that makes your life feel as if this is going to be okay. For the first years, it is chaotic. For the first years, I was just trying to sell anything, rent anything. So if you call me, oh, you want to see land and where? I didn't know if you got money. I didn't know if you got any, but I got, because this could be it. This could be it. Listen, by the time you do that for a couple of years, you realize, Cherita, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Um, you start, as I said, part of dissecting the formula is realizing this is not working. Me
Hmm.
driving up and down and looking busy doesn't mean it's converting into sales or rentals. So we gotta figure out a way to stop this.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And then you find a lot of it has to do with, as you build your courage, and as things start to happen, and as you get little deals, etc., your confidence. That's it. Your confidence
Yeah.
builds. It is easier for me to come, and I have my ways and means of asking. Um, you know, have you? I'm happy that you're excited about this search. Have you had a chance to talk to your financial institution yet? No, we can do that after we see the house. No, no, no. You can give your financial institution a little call, just check, because you never know. The property, or the price that you're looking, that you think you might be able to afford, you might be able to afford even more. Yes. Go and liaise with your financial institution and check out what you qualify for, and show me. Once you qualify, come back and show me. Chamara, how many people hearing the speech come back and show me?
Mm.
About 5%. So imagine the days, the gas that would have been spent. Me, this is it. This is it. This could be it. This could be it. Showing, 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 and they're not in order. Suppose I didn't have the courage to ask that question, right? Because I
Mhm.
don't want to offend anybody. Oh, no, no, but you have to love yourself more.
Yeah.
So you just find your ways and means of asking the questions you need to ask to ensure that you are not encroaching on your time and your effort. And be bold about it. Don't second guess yourself.
I actually really appreciate that message. That 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 spoke to me on so many levels.
Good.
Um, Ria is saying that it is hard to take time off from work when you have the goals, and it's about finding the balance, I guess. And she said, um, you said 5 years you worked hard. Would you do that again in an effort to push the business? I feel like you can only rest after you are at that stage when things are better financially.
Yes. I mean, let's be honest.
Hmm.
You don't want to say it, but at the beginning of any business, you're trying to make money and it ain't coming, right? So you push, 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 push. You, you have to do it. But guess what? When you do that so hardcore at the beginning, to me, you are establishing a firm foundation. I remember Les Brown, top speaker, came to Barbados many moons ago, and I paid my big money for me at the time to go. And I was real vexed with this man where he said, if any of you came in here expecting to be rich and wealthy within the first 10 years of your business, this is not the seminar for you. I was like, how do you mean? How do you mean 10 years? I ain't got the 10 years to. So what are you trying to say that I can only see money after 10 years? And I sat down in their vexed. But I listened to him, nevertheless, and I understood it. You have to go through the process of grinding. The grind is inevitable. If you come into starting a business of any kind and get offset because by year 2 you are not making money, self-employment, entrepreneurship is not for you. Part of being successful as an entrepreneur is just keeping your eye on the prize and flogging it regardless.
Hmm.
Um, in my early days, and I just being honest with y'all guys, I mean, I came out of a very high paying job, right? But in my early days, when I stepped out on my own, I saw my money start rolling downhill real fast. And what would happen, I would get a little rental and you would see the little financial blip go up and there it goes, oh, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. I would get another little rental and oh, wait, 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 wait. Oh, yeah, yeah, oh, oh, car insurance, oh, there it goes, there it goes. Listen, that is
Hmm.
part of entrepreneurship at the beginning until you find your rhythm, until you do the tweaks, until you do the trial and error of what you will never do again. And that takes time. And a lot of people are not willing to invest that time, but you got to do it to get, to get to that success point.
Yeah, I think it actually not only takes time but attention. Sometimes we don't even realize the mistakes that we're making until it's too far gone, But if
Yeah.
we pay attention from early, then we might realize, okay, look, this didn't work.
Yes.
This ain't working. You need to change something like no, you know.
Yes.
Sometimes when you look back, it's like, imagine all these years that I waste doing this particular thing. And if I had just noticed this before, something could have been completely different in my life right now. You know,
Yes.
um, Not that you sit down and you dwell on the past, but it's good to be able to acknowledge those things. So when you acknowledge those things, I think it puts you in a position to be more aware now, so that going forward, you don't make those same mistakes repeatedly.
I'm going to say this, and I think this is going to transform a lot of lives.
Hmm.
This is going to save a lot of wasted time and effort and get you where you were supposed to be a lot faster. In business, even though we, in our various industries, whether it's beauty, real estate, insurance, whatever, we kind of know what has been the trail that has been set before, and we feel that that's the way we're to do things, and we read and this and that, and we set the path, and we try to emulate the path. Do you, who, once you tap into your authentic self, right, and start doing things your way, the success will come.
Hmm.
That's the reality of it. A lot of us are hindered and held back and beating ourselves, wondering, why am I not there yet? because you're looking at somebody else's there instead of creating your own, you
Mhm.
know?
I laugh because it's yesterday. I'm doing a free 5 day challenge on
Mm,
creating a transformational customer journey. And the first day I was like, all these people that I see, you understand, do their challenges in Facebook. So that is where I am going to do my challenge.
ah,
The first day came and I started to realize that all these messages I sending out to the people that sign up, nobody's getting these messages. Only like one person seeing all these Facebook messages. And I very quickly had to change my plan because it was like this Facebook thing ain't working for me. So I had to start sending
mhm,
out emails and doing Zoom links so people could actually join me on Zoom for the calls. And that's how people started getting my messages,
you
and I
see?
was like, here I am following all these people. And when I really think about it, these are people with thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. And here I am trying to emulate them. And they got a small following, so
Yes,
I fully agree with you there. At some point, you have to be able to start walking your own path, be able to see where you might want to be, but know that
yeah,
they did not get there doing what they are doing now. They had to make different moves before they got to that point, right?
correct,
And you have to
correct.
know what those moves are for you, and you cannot go. It is very easy to see people in the area that you would like to be very successful in and try to mock them, but you are not them.
Yes,
People do
yes,
not want another them.
yeah,
They want EU. You understand?
yes,
So those are the things that we really need to consider. Reach Your Goals Academy is saying here that balance from the beginning so that you can live the life you want early. I actually, it kind of contradicts a little bit, but I kind of really lean I find myself on the border. I understand that there's the need for that hustle, but I also feel that if we are clear on some steps that we want to take and be consistent with those steps to create that balance from the early. Like I started to feel that recently because it's like, okay, I'm spending a lot of time putting in all of these hours trying to push the business. And here I
mhm,
am with children, you know. At some point says, Mommy, I don't see you no more. You like you're here, but you're in here, So it's like, okay, look, something has to change. I need to be
yes,
able to create that balance from now so that when the work starts rolling in droves, it is not a case where I don't see my children at all. I need to have some things in place so that when that work starts rolling in, I know that it's not going to cut into these times because I set the boundaries from them. So I see the need for, you know, both, both sides of the
mhm.
scale, so to
And
speak.
let me jump on that by saying everybody has their season. A lot of the building of my business happened as a single woman. No
Mhm.
man was calling me. You understand? I wasn't going home to none. So guess what? That was why it was easy for me to bury myself in
Mm.
building and et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, now that I have a family, things have changed. I try to put parameters on how I do what. So you also have to look at the season that you're in and the stage in your life too, to know what can work when. But balance, yes, always try to striving for balance is of the utmost, and everybody will have their different timing in their journey when that balance comes into play.
Yeah. Um, special touch says thanks for the encouragement. It was very much needed, and
Yay!
best comment so far. So thank you. Um, okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I want to be sure that I've asked. I mean, there's so many other things I could ask, right? But
One of the things, if you don't mind me,
mhm,
I just want to say this, and it goes back to a lot about being just the best who you are. Um, the reason I struggled when I was in business for others was I just was not made to work for anyone. I just was not. I remember one of the most liberating things that a girlfriend told me. She was like, Cherita, you know what you are? You are non-conformist, anti-establishment. I was like, huh? But it felt good because I was like, you are right. And I was forcing myself to fit into the mold that I learned you fit into when you leave secondary school. You find that one job, you stay there, and you be the best that you can be. And I just was not that person, so it was a struggle for me. And then I realized, you know what? Similarly to how for A levels I did Spanish, French, and math, which had no sync at all, but it was, you know what? That was what I was the best at. So I doing it. I decided I would apply that to my life. I doing what I like. And in the process, I will hit up on, where my strengths are.
Mm-hmm.
And then in finding those strengths, I will strengthen those strengths. So that's why too, I guess I have done so many things because I've always been a multitasker. So to force myself to just do one thing and be happy,
Yeah.
I would not.
Difficult.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps some people too. Don't feel that you have to be whatever you are now for the rest of your natural born life. You
Mhm.
know, you might have another skill there that meant to take you to a whole other level.
It is so true. You dropped a lot, a lot of gems tonight, and I really appreciate that. So, and I know that at every turn you offered a bit of advice. Bump and beyond is saying really, really good information. So, my last question
Mm.
for you is there anything that any message that you would like to give any entrepreneurs out there to keep them going?
I would say number one, um, first of all, whoever you tap into, whether it's God, the sun, the moon, whatever, sit down and have a serious conversation, pretty much saying, look, I got one shot at this life. This isn't a dress rehearsal. I want to live this the best way I know how. Show me the path that I am supposed to be on. It sounds a real airy fairy, right? But as simple as doing that,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be surprised how all of a sudden doors would open in a certain direction and point you where you're supposed to go. On the contrary, I would say this. There's some people who are flogging a dead horse. You know that you have flogged that horse 87 times and it ain't for you, but because your mommy did it, your daddy did it, or whoever you see doing it is successful, you figure this is going to be my breakthrough. It ain't for you. Leave the horse alone, and instead tap into what your passion is.
Mm-hmm.
Your passion is really what leads you into your purpose, and your purpose is what God rewards because at the end of the day, he has a plan and a purpose for you. But if you over there with Sally's plan, you ain't gonna tap into the purpose for you, and you will always be dissatisfied and unfulfilled. So I would leave that with people, and also once you have that passion for something,
Mm-hmm.
don't just jump into it wild and figure, as an entrepreneur, I started my write the vision down and make it plain. Show yourself a plan. Because once one of the things that I did as an athlete, when I wanted to jump a certain distance, if I wanted to break a record, I wrote the figure down. When I went to sleep, that was the last thing I saw. When I woke up, first thing I saw, I put it in my shoes. It was in my bag. That was the only figure, the only number I saw. And then what happens? Your body programs itself
Mm-hmm.
to act out what it saw. So that's how I broke records. I just programmed my body to do it. The same way with life. If you feel the passion and the purpose and the drive in a certain direction, write that vision down so you can see it, make it plain,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will find that, the universe will align to send the right people to you, the right opportunities will come to you, doors will slam in your face that need slamming, and everything will become a lot clearer.
Message well received. And sometimes I understand that fully because sometimes we can be very resistant. It's like
Ooh,
so at some point you have to let go of that resistance and just let things
yes,
flow, you know. So thank you for that. So
you're welcome.
everyone, thank you for joining us. We have just had a wonderful conversation with Cherita Odell of Bar- Barbados Real Estate 246. and Million Dollar Homes, as well as Cherry Berry
Cherry Berry Productions.
Cherry
One of my good friends used to nickname me Cherry Berry.
Berry Productions. And look, the woman is working.
Emerald Corporate Services, the marketing arm. Yeah, there's a lot.
I don't know. Phenomenal advice is what Special Touch is saying.
Awesome. Good.
You know,
Glad you received it.
very phenomenal advice. I really enjoyed speaking with you today. Please let the people know how they can find you.
Sure. I can be found on Instagram as Agent Cherita. You can also follow me on Barbados Real Estate on Facebook. Look for the one. I think it has about 8,000 likes now. On Facebook, you'll find me as Cherita Odell. But the best way is probably Instagram and Facebook. I will just encourage you guys to, as you proceed, do not get discouraged. Part of whether you work for someone, whether you work for yourself, life happens. Don't flog yourself when a lot of everything that could go wrong goes wrong. And also just stay fixated on your goals. Just recently, real quick story before you shut off. One of my big signs was damaged going across Sandy Lane Road, right? And people that reached out to me all concerned and stressed and stuff, they were more concerned that I was not more concerned. They couldn't understand why I was saying, well, another sign gone, got to make another one. They couldn't understand my attitude. But when they understand how my mind works, it's an athlete's mind where if you try to intimidate me or mess with me or come for me, I'm the wrong person, because what it does, it actually strengthens me. So I am one of these people, listen to me, if the whole commission got spent putting back 54 signs in that location because you knock it down 53 times, that's just what I'm going to do. And I think if you approach your business life, your work life with that attitude, nobody can mess with you. He who angers you controls you. So you got to learn, be real focused, keep your eyes on what matters for you. Do not be distracted by the little stuff, and life will work out just the way it's supposed to.
This is what I call alignment, because some of what you said, I was just reading in a book like yesterday.
Nice.
But the term fall down 7, get up 8,
Yeah.
that's a real thing, man.
It's all about your attitude, man. All about your attitude.
All right, so before we go, they're gonna have some more comments. It says Cherita is a rock star.
Woo, woo, woo,
Welcome,
woo.
celebrity. We got some fire in the chat. Let's see. I saw something else. Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody just pretty much agreeing with everything you have been saying. All right.
Yay.
Like I said, phenomenal. I really enjoyed this interview, and I hope
Good.
to know you better in the future.
Yeah, man.
For those of you who do not know, I am Chamara Hollingsworth of Vision to Reality International, and you can find me on Instagram at Make It Happen with Chamara. I can mostly be found on Instagram, so I will not even bother sharing any other social media handles to confuse the situation. At Make It Happen with Chamara, feel free to follow me, and also follow Agent Cherita at Agent Cherita on Instagram and Barbados Real Estate on Facebook. I wish all of you a wonderful night, and I look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. Okay? Bye, everyone.
Bye.